You've heard you can pay your kids through your business and save on taxes, but the IRS is watching. To do it right, your child needs a real job, a real paycheck, and yes, a real job description. In today's episode, we're turning income shifting into a smart tax planning move.
Your creative genius deserves the same precision behind the numbers.
Welcome to Let's Get Fiscal,
hosted by Anastasia, Myiesha, and Danielle.
Part of the women-led team at Coterie Tax.
From smart tax moves to cash flow strategy,
we decode everything it takes to run a thriving, creative business
so you can scale with confidence and sleep easy at night.
Press play and let's grow your business.
Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about payroll, but in the sense of hiring your children. And how does that work? How is it legal? And all of the fun things. So yeah, let's jump right on into it. So you can hire your minor children?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
And I mean, that's another one of the kind of topics that tax accountants, we like to laugh about a little bit because we see it a lot on social media.
Yeah.
Of like this, loophole of hiring your kids, and that's how you can decrease your taxes and things like that. And it's always, if it was that easy, then why doesn't everybody do it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, really, when you're looking at any employee, that's exactly how you have to treat a child.
Okay.
So the IRS is going to be looking at, again, does this expense make financial sense for your business?
Okay.
And is this something that any other rational business owner in your industry would do?
Okay.
So hiring your kids, it's 100% possible. I mean, we see kids on TV all the time. It's not impossible for children to have jobs. So
weird industry though, but yes.
Get them to work.
Yeah.
Sitting at home doing nothing, eating all my cereal, So having your children on your payroll, 100% doable. The question more is about documentation.
Okay.
And also, what is your intent? Because the IRS, I mean, they see these things all the time. So if your intent is just to avoid taxes, they know that. Then they're going to be able to identify that pretty easily. So the issue more is we need to show that this is ordinary and necessary for your business. And so that's the question of really, how do you hire your children, is how do you show that this is a necessary expense and that it's ordinary, that it's not, you're not paying your child 10 times more than what you would pay somebody else to do the same job.
Okay.
So that's really kind of key there, is you want to make sure that the documentation is all set up. So when you say, what documentation is that?
Well, I was stuck on I'm guessing you can't pay your 6-year-old to exist. There's got to be real things.
Exactly.
And then, and then how do you even hire them? Yeah. So go ahead with the documentation part. Yeah.
So it's just like any other employee. You have to have a job description.
Okay.
What are they actually going to be doing?
Okay.
So you need to list out, what are their responsibilities? What are the tasks that they're doing? Are there, any processes that they would be in charge of? And what are your expectations of them? What are the hours that would be set for this position? So very much like if you were to put a job posting out on Indeed.
Okay.
You're going to be doing something very similar for your child, but you want to make sure that all of the tasks that they're doing are required for your business. So like you said, you probably wouldn't put a job posting out on Indeed for your child, to hire someone to sit on your couch.
Yeah.
But what you would do is maybe you would hire a virtual assistant to be able to go through your mail and scan them in, or you have a lot of paperwork that's coming in and you need it in electronic format. Or maybe like in our case where you need a whole bunch of things shredded. So instead of taking it to one of the big companies where I don't have time in tax season to drive somewhere, wait 30 minutes, make sure that it's all, maybe that's easier for a child to sit there and shred documents all day long. Or, with an Airbnb, they can mop the floor, they can sweep the floor, they can assist with some of the cleaning responsibilities when you're going and you're switching over the property for the next tenant. So there are activities that a child can do.
Okay.
It's just being clear about what they are going to be doing and then also making sure that it's age appropriate.
Okay. Yeah.
So
bring some ethics a little bit into that. Right. Yeah. Okay.
And even to the, a lot of times people say like, okay, we'll use them as an actor in Instagram. Okay. Well, tell me, number one, how this post is being monetized. Are they playing with a toy that you have an affiliate link to so that you can earn revenue? So that's one of the things. And then also, if you were to hire somebody else's child, how much would you be paying them? What's the market rate for a child actor to appear in one of your commercials? Because again, you need to be paying them, market value to what you would use for somebody who's unrelated. Because that's a lot of times too what the IRS is looking at is if this person is related to you, are they getting special treatment?
Gotcha. Yeah.
So you want to make sure that you're not really giving them that special treatment, as well as, like I said, just being clear about what they would be doing, making sure that there are activities that have to be completed in your company.
Yeah.
And maybe it doesn't make sense to hire somebody for, like I said, for 2 hours a week to open and scan mail. It doesn't make sense. But at the same time, I don't have time to do it. So here's somebody who's, a 10-year-old could easily do something like that. And they could earn a little bit of pocket money doing it. So having the job description is really key. That way you're setting down all of those expectations and being really clear about what they're doing and making sure that those positions are actually required in your business and you're able to monetize them in some type of way.
Yeah.
So either you're monetizing it because it's, like I said, like a direct sale of whatever product that they're doing, or it's freeing you up
to then go
to work triple, to earn triple whatever you're paying them.
Gotcha.
Okay,
things like sense. So how do the rules differ if you're like an LLC versus like an S Corp when it comes to like hiring your kids?
Yeah. So in a single member LLC or sole proprietorship, you are considered the business.
Oh, okay.
So it's really, because when you file your personal return, it's all inside your personal return.
Yeah.
And since you're filing together, you're all considered one entity. You are considered basically as the parent, the employer of the child.
Okay.
So you don't have to pay unemployment or Social Security or Medicare if they're under the age of 18.
Oh.
So really, it's just a straight expense. There's no cost to you to do this item.
Okay.
So when you're an S corporation, then that's where you pick up one of those aspects of a corporation where they're a completely separate entity, and then that entity is hiring your child. So the entity is no longer a parent of your child. So then that's when, Social Security and some of these extra expenses might pop up. But depending on what tax bracket you're in, maybe you pay an extra 15% for the Social Security and Medicare and all these other employer taxes. But if you're in a 22% tax bracket, then you're still saving a bit of money by shifting that income from your return over into their return.
Okay.
So that's a lot of the reason why people are doing this is because of that process of income shifting. So you're taking income from a highly taxed individual and shifting it to someone who is in a lower tax bracket so that you can take advantage of that delta. And so that's the reason why the IRS is so keen on making sure that it's actually a correct shift of income that is substantiated and documented and required for your business. So, but even with that, I always say too, you need to document when your child is working.
Okay.
So like a really great example that I like to bring up a lot is there was a gas station, a little corner store that was audited, and they had their 4-year-old on payroll. And the IRS is like,
okay.
Exactly. That's,
Yeah. What is the 4-year-old doing?
The 4-year-old was sweeping the floors and like organizing all of the products. So making sure that everything was like nice and clean and all of the candies were in the right spot and all of that fun stuff. So a 4-year-old can do that. They especially
can't.
Can
ours? Because I don't think mine could. But okay. No. Okay, yes. This particular 4-year-old
goes around with a broom.
Oh.
She will do that. Yes.
Mine side eyes me. It's just like, and then goes about her business. So
no.
Okay.
Mine will definitely do that. And especially, if I say, okay, I'll give you $1 if you do this, then they absolutely do it in a heartbeat. And so the IRS kind of questioned it like you, and the owner was able to pull up videotapes of the child actually performing that service.
Okay.
So it's not only about just having that job description, it's also about showing, like I said, like timesheets of what are the days that they're doing this, how long did they do it, what were they doing when they were working, because if you try to say like, okay, so a 4-year-old was sweeping for 8 hours. That's probably not going to fly.
Yeah.
But, like sweeping for 30 minutes, that's something that could be easily done if I say, okay, you clean this and I'll give you a Barbie. Yeah, it'll happen. I need to be really quickly.
Adjusting my parenting. Yeah.
I mean, right now it's the Hello Kitty video game.
Okay. Yeah. Nope, that's fair.
So she will do anything for that. So there are different ways that you can incentivize the child to do that. But again, it's about making sure that they're doing something that is actually age appropriate and that, maybe you are recording them doing this item, and it can be something really simple.
Okay. So like our kind of like an overall theme we have is like the intent and then the record keeping to prove basically having the backup if you ever are questioned.
Right. And the younger they are, I say the more aggressive you have to be at that documentation. So, if you have a 4-year-old that's sweeping your Airbnb, maybe you should take a video of them doing that.
Proof.
Exactly. Exactly. You don't have to have every single time you're recording it, but you just have to be able to show that they do have the capability to do it and they are actually doing it.
Okay.
So, and like I said, the benefit to that is you're shifting the income from your higher tax bracket into their lower tax bracket. And children, as long as you're below the standard deduction. So the standard deduction is about $15,000, $16,000, and it increases for inflation every single year. So you can provide them a W-2 up to that amount, or their standard deduction would be whatever their earned income is plus $450. So if you pay them $6,000, their standard deduction would be $6,450.
Okay.
Which I only say that because you have to be a little bit careful if they also have, like the grandparents set them up with an investment account where they're getting interest and dividends and things like that. So
just making sure you see the full picture.
Right. But as long as their earned income is under that $15,000 mark, generally they're not going to be paying income taxes on it. And like I said, if you're in that 25% tax bracket, like there you just saved, $2,500 or so by shifting it over to them. And what are the chances you're going to be giving them money anyways? Like I said, it doesn't really matter what happens. I know I'm going to be buying this Hello Kitty game. So might as well get a little bit something out of it. And what I like is, especially since I like to have funds invested into a Roth IRA, which I'll get into a little bit later. But so the Roth IRA, normally it maxes out at about $7,000.
Okay.
So you could say, okay, do all of this stuff. I'll give you half of the money as your pocket money that you can use for whatever you need. And then the other half goes into savings. And then so you're automatically starting them up with a savings account, with that retirement account, all of that fun stuff. But also they get their pocket money. And then plus 7 is 14,000. So you're underneath that standard deduction. So now, you're in the clear in a lot of different ways. And the reason for the Roth IRA is you are, number one, you're able to withdraw the funds that you put in there.
Okay.
But also, as long as the account is more than 5 years old, which it would be, if you start an account for them, let's say at 10 years old, then you wait until you continue funding that until they go to college.
Yeah.
Then they can start using those funds for their tuition.
Oh, they don't have to wait until they're retiring.
Exactly.
Oh,
exactly.
Okay.
So that's the really big key. Is because a 529 plan, normally some states will give you a small tax break if you're funding a 529 plan, but you don't get a federal tax deduction for investing in a 529 plan. So if you are already planning on funding your child's college education, then here's a way that you can put that money into a Roth IRA, decrease your own tax liability, and then they're still able to use that as a college account, as long as the account is going to be over that 5-year age by the time they're using those funds. And that's for, grabbing the earnings and things like that. And then you also have, they can use $10,000 towards their first home.
Oh,
so
cool.
Now you're using this account as a way to fund multiple different aspects. And then, like you said, you're already giving them a head start on their retirement account versus if you were just funding a 529 plan. A 529 plan is all going to be post-tax money and it's going to be restricted. So if you're not able to use it, you could roll it over to another person and, there's other things there, but
it's like more strict of what you can use it for. Okay.
Okay. So maybe a 529 plan when they're a little bit younger, when they're a little baby, things like that. They're still learning to walk. And then switching over to that Roth IRA with that W-2 income.
Okay. So do you have to give them a W-2? Like, is that part of it? Okay. Yeah.
So, and that's kind of one of the keys is that the IRS is looking for, if you are hiring them as an employee, are you actually treating them like an employee?
Okay.
An employee gets a W-2. So even though, let's say you're a single member LLC, you're not collecting unemployment insurance for them, you're not collecting Medicare, you're not collecting Social Security for them, you can still issue them a W-2.
Okay.
And then because it's under that threshold, you wouldn't be required necessarily to file a tax return. Sometimes I still recommend it just so that there's a record of they have earned income. So therefore, we're going to fund the Roth IRA, which can only be done if you have earned income.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So there is a bit more paperwork that is required when you're doing this. But again, I mean, if to do after the fact payroll, issue a W-2, and then complete an easy tax return, if you're saving $3,000, it's going to cost you less than that to be able to do that. And then also, like I said, you're investing money in their future. So then you get all of the earnings. And then because it's a Roth account, it'll come back tax-free. But that key is you have to treat them like an employee. So that means you have to have a job description. You have to have time cards. You have to issue them a W-2 at the end of the year.
Okay.
So it's a little bit of work. It's more than just saying, okay, I'm going to give my kid, $10,000 for the year and kind of walk away.
Yeah.
You really want to make sure that it actually makes sense for your business and that you're ready for all of the paperwork that it takes.
Comes with it.
And like I said, depending on the age of the child, you may have more paperwork that you need to do. And like I always say, it's not necessarily that it's impossible to do something. It's about making sure that you have the documentation available to show that this is the reason why this is happening. So you can have a 4-year-old sweeping the floor and, I mean, maybe not folding towels because they might be taller than the child. But
I don't even trust my husband to fold the towels the way I like. Yeah, the 4-year-old's not going to get it. Yeah. Okay.
There's definitely, especially nowadays, I see a lot with social media. And I think that's like really adorable and funny when they're like, oh, the Gen Z, they, made this, this Instagram post for me and things like that. But that's definitely something that you would pay a marketing company to create an ad for you. So if you're hiring your child to make like these silly, Instagram posts for you,
like treat them the same way you would. Yeah. Okay.
It is something that you could pay them for. And then just making sure that you are documenting it and that you are able to show that it is a necessary expense for your business. So if the child isn't doing it, then you would be paying somebody else to do it.
Yep.
And that it is ordinary, so that you're just paying them market rent and you're not inflating their wages more than what you would do for anybody that's unrelated to you.
Yeah. No, I mean, that makes sense. It really all is coming down to intent. Making sure you're setting yourself up right.
Yep. So I am always big on let's get these kids to work. If you look, kids have been working from really young ages.
Literally the exact opposite.
Hundreds of years. Hundreds of years they've been working,
My kid knows where the broom is.
In a coal mine, but you can open up some letters. Yeah. Let's definitely get them. Especially, like I said, we're doing it for purposes that you as a parent would already be funding anyways.
That is fair. Yeah.
You're already going to be giving them pocket money. You're already going to be funding their college education and setting them up for a good future. So let's do that in a way that's tax advantaged. And then you can also achieve some of these other goals that you have as well. So
it's fair. It's making me think maybe I should carry more cash to see if I can convince mine. All right, I'll give you $1. Can you go clean your room? No, that's awesome. Thank you. Yeah.
So hiring your kids doesn't necessarily have to be one of those social media FOMO things. You can absolutely do it. It is a ordinary and necessary expense for many businesses. It's just about how you do that. So if you have any questions on how it would best fit for your company, put a comment below or send us an email and we can talk through it.
Bye, you guys.
That's a wrap on Let's Get Fiscal. Ready to stop guessing and start saving? Click the link in the show notes, grab your consult, and let's make your business work for you, not the other way around. You've got this.